joined by Coach Yo and student athletes Cody McMahon and Cody McMahon, excuse me, and Latasha Lattimore. We'll begin with a quick opening statement from Coach, and then we'll take questions for the student athletes. We'll then dismiss the athletes back to the locker room, and then take questions for Coach.
Yeah, just really happy for our team. I thought we came out and executed the game plan from the jump. My team knows that they're a good team, but sometimes they shock themselves. And we're going to use how the end of the game and the runs that they had. We'll use that to put ourselves to handle it better in the future if that happens. So if there's some type of correction, it would be that. But I'm not going to let anything take away from the fact that, we just beat the number 5 team in the country, and one of our starters are out. So that was a complete game from our team, and we set the tone from when the ball went up, probably until the fourth quarter, where we kind of unraveled. But super proud of these two and the rest of the team.
Questions for the student athletes, please raise your hand. We'll bring you a microphone. All right, here in the middle, second row.
This question is for both of you all. Obviously, you guys didn't necessarily end the season how you wanted to end it per se, but you come into the SEC tournament, you get a big win against Vanderbilt. Talk about stepping up to the challenge and hearing some of the outside noise and really just kind of getting past that.
Yeah, I feel like the season is a lot of ups and downs, a lot of learning that you can do from wins and losses. But right now our focus is what's in front of us. Obviously we didn't end it how we wanted to, but like I said, it's about what's in front of us. And then, what we can learn from those losses. I feel like that'll help us go or make a run that we need to in either this tournament or next.
I would definitely say just blocking out the noise. Just not letting it get to us at all. And then, like what Cody said, learning from the losses. The one thing that we really did learn was that we need to play defense as a team. So, and then that's from the jump, not second half, not the third quarter. Like, we need to come out and play defense as much as we can. Like, if that's pressure in the ball from the first possession, we're gonna do that. And the one thing that we learned from the 4 losses was, as a team, play defense, and the rest will come to us.
Over here on the right, front row.
This question is for the both of you. As a team, how are you guys able to contain Michaela Blakes? I know she kind of went off in the fourth quarter, but in the first half, she was held to 1 point. So, as a team, how are you guys able to contain her?
Dictating and disrupting.
Amen.
Questions for the student athletes? If there are no more, ladies, you can be dismissed back to the locker room.
I thought that was a good answer. And she backed it with the 8.
We'll take questions for Coach Yo. Front row on the right.
Coach, can you talk a little bit about the mindset coming into this game? You kind of spoke on it in, what you said earlier, but going into this game, number 5 seed, really big team, you're playing against SEC Player of the Year. What was the mindset? What were you telling your girls coming into this game?
Honestly, people don't talk about it a lot, but we beat them early in the year, so my players already had confidence. And because we've seen it happen, that's first. And then second, we completely put that in the back of our minds because we felt like they were playing for something, but so were we. And right now we're doing really well with the underdog mentality. Before we ended up playing those 4 games in 8 days, we were on a roll. I feel like had that not happened and the ice storm didn't happen, we would have been playing, we would be hunted. That's how we were going like this. And so now we had a lot of challenges and whatnot, and we stumbled. as we learned through the way, and it put us back in the underdog mentality when people started talking about Vandy as if we didn't have a game to play. And so we just used that as a team to give us a little bit of edge. But we also have a lot of supreme confidence from the Auburn game, just how we came out. I think the team really loved how that felt, and we're just going to try to stay true to that for this tournament, of course, but also for the NCAA.
Second row in the middle.
Coach, this is more of a two-part question. The first part is, do you think that the first time you played Vanderbilt, because it was at a neutral site, it was in Birmingham, do you think that kind of helped you in terms of preparing for this game, knowing that it was at a neutral site? Then the second part of it is getting a win like this against Vanderbilt. How does it continue to prepare you guys throughout the rest of the tournament, SEC tournament?
Yeah, I mean, I thought that neutral site, I mean, it feels like we're in Birmingham right now, you know, just the whole setup and whatnot. I thought it was good for both teams for us to kind of get that preview. Again, people not giving us credit. We didn't even play them at home. You know, we kind of did the same. This game, I think, a team like Vanderbilt, we shocked them so much. I think we were up like 20 at halftime the first time, but this time, I mean, it was kind of crazy. Like everyone was shocked, even our team. And so, but yes, it did help us. A win like this, it just gives this team confidence because, as I've stated, Sierra will be back for the NCAA tournament, and really, she's the head of our snake when it comes to the defensive pressure. But I love the fact that Tiana and KP and all these other people are stepping up and really buying into what we want to do defensively. And I think we'll be a tough out wherever we go, whoever we play in March Madness.
Front row on the left.
Yeah, we just heard your players talking about dictating and disrupting, and that was the end of the answer. But I was hoping you could elaborate a little bit more in terms of the messaging from the coaching staff. You're wearing the defense shirt. We know it starts with defense with you guys. Hearing them say that, probably felt good for you to hear them give that as the answer.
Dictate and disrupt is our defensive philosophy. So even when we recruit, it's a patent. Everyone knows, like Ole Miss women's basketball, our defensive philosophy is dictate and disrupt. I think it was 5-6 years ago, Charlton Young, he's now the associate head coach at Miami on the men's side, sat me, he's a mentor of mine, and he sat me down. He said, you have no defensive system. I'm going to go ahead and teach you what we had from Florida State. And he spent a summer with me, and ever since then, I've been doing that same defense. And then I said, okay, we got to have a name to it. And so it's dictate and disrupt. We want to dictate teams and get the shots that we want them to take, and then we want to disrupt them from anything that they want to do. And our team really believes in that. But one of the things that's good when you lose, you don't really lose, you learn. And sometimes you need adversity to see where your character is, to step back, and to figure out how to be your best self. When we had the injury with Sierra and Jayla, we didn't have that early in the year. We had that at the most important time, which is right before we ended up coming to March. It was a really great challenge for myself and my staff to kind of figure out how to coach this team, because it was a new team. And then Jayla came back, and Sierra now is warming up and practicing and stuff and looking great. But we're learning how to coach the team that we have. So, you know, I'm really proud of my staff. For me, I don't know if you know the story, but I went 0-16, you know, in my second year. So I know how to fail forward. And so I never look at a loss as it's the end of the world, because I know what it feels like. And I also know how to go from 0-16 to Sweet 16. So I'm always going to be looking at it half glass full because of my experiences and what I've been through. And luckily I have an administration that has supported me through that. And now we're back in the semifinals.
Front row.
Coach, this is now the 4th time in 5 seasons that you've advanced to the SEC tournament semifinals. Kind of what is your message to the team? And honestly, I'm kind of reminded of your press conference after the Tennessee game in the regular season where you challenged, and I'm an Ole Miss student, I'm a sophomore, you challenged the fan base and the university to come out and support. Kind of what is your message to this team now that you've achieved, this incredible feat 4 times in 5 years and you have a legitimate chance to make a run not only for the SEC tournament championship, but throughout the NCAA tournament as well?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think my message will be we belong. Ole Miss is not blue blood, but we always find a way to be in the mix. I'm just not talking about us. I'm talking about football. I'm talking about golf. I'm talking about rifle. I'm talking about softball. I'm talking about track. We always find a way. Even when people don't want us to be in the mix, I think our administration has just done a great job of finding coaches that believe in, buy in, lock in, and are all in the mission and what we do every single day. It's not a school that matches. It's not a place for everyone, but it's a place for people that roll up their sleeves and work. And so I'm just going to tell them in the morning that they belong. Because what I don't want is them to walk on that court tomorrow and feel like, and have like, what's that syndrome called? When you, imposter syndrome. Nah, we earned this. We played a really good team. Let's not discredit this win we just had, okay? Everybody was singing Vandy's praises before we played them because they earned it. They got the coach of the year, the player of the year, and the freshman of the year. And we beat them. So we came in and we earned this opportunity, and I want them to feel like they belong against whomever we play tomorrow.
Anything else? One right here in the front.
Coach, the start you guys had to the game, how important is that for your confidence, like as a team, and not only just for this game, but moving forward in the tournament where you could play a Texas or Alabama and hopefully make it to the finals? How important is the start you had for your team's confidence? I think
it's key. It's how we start. I remember our last loss, Texas A&M. They jumped on us. It was like 23 to 10 or something like that. And then we beat them every other quarter, but we couldn't recover. So we know how important our start is. And we also thought about when we played Vandy the first time, we had a really good start. So moving forward, and that's what I'm saying, like every game, whether it's a win or loss, we've been like taking lessons throughout the whole thing because the ultimate goal, look, I would love to win the SEC championship. I do believe that it's harder to win an SEC championship than an NCAA championship when you look at the teams who we have to play night in and night out, right? So I would love to do that, but I would also love for us to go to Phoenix and play in the Final Four. So whatever we can learn along the way, whether it's through a loss or win, we plan on doing that so that we can put our best foot forward at the NCAA tournament.
Coach, thank you very much for your time.